And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another and final episode of season two's Paint Sipping Relationships. Oh my. And what a way to go out on this one, first off. I mean, and we got a surprise at the end of this episode as well. But actually, um, just what a topic. And of course, my co-host, Rain Congrejo. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. And what a topic.
Yeah.
Woman making the paper. Okay. Is the title.
The
A
Quan,
woman.
the
that-
money.
Yes. Yes. So would you like to start us off on that or give us some insight on this or how we even came to this topic or what?
Well, we came to this topic because of you. So,
Wow. I was trying to get out of that, but that didn't go over too well. Okay.
yeah, yeah. You started it. Um,
I did.
yeah, you did. I think I guess I'm going to turn this over to you first because this all started with you and how you were feeling being with being with women that you were always the breadwinner. So you were always the giver.
Hmm.
You were always the one giving a allowance and giving money to go shopping and now you don't do that. It's
Hmm.
kind of like the tables are turned. So I'm going to let you talk to that from a man's point of view.
Okay, so it all started when I was 5 years old, and no, I'm just playing. Okay, so basically, in previous relationships, yes, I have been the one that's in the situation that has been the person to um, fulfill a need. If it's something that's financial, it's something that you're struggling with something, and if I had it, I gave it to you. It was just me. I
Mhm,
that's the person that I am, and if I'm in a relationship, I'm giving it to you wholeheartedly. I'm in it both, 2 feet in, 10 feet toes down, 10 toes down. I'm in it. So it was challenging when you start to date someone or see someone or you have an interest of someone that they don't need that. They
mm.
are self-sufficient. They are neo Miss Independent, that song. And not just the song. Like they
Mhm,
can, you know, when you can get stuff and you can pick up the price, you can get things and don't look at the price tag. It's just a need. I want this, I want to get it, that's it, right?
mhm,
Versus someone that is like, yeah, I gotta save up for that, or that's on my wish list, or that's on my future list to get, right?
mhm, mhm,
When you with someone that has it like that, two things come up. When
mm,
you're the one that's the breadwinner, you could listen for certain things a person may say that they need or they would like or whatever, and you're the breadwinner, so you like, okay, I'm gonna get her that because I
mm,
know that's gonna make her happy. I know she's been mentioning that or whatever, right?
mhm.
When you with someone that doesn't, that's not the situation. Yeah, you really can't just say, yeah, I'm gonna go on and pick up that trip to Spain real quick and put that
Mhm.
on my card, and you can't operate on that way. So now let's be real. The
Mm,
next thing that comes up is the levels, right? So you can't go financially with this person because they can get everything they want. Don't get
mhm.
me wrong. You can do things that maybe they may not. Yes, they can do it, but they may not have done it for themselves.
Right, right.
Right? Okay, I,
Mhm,
I I really need to get that new coat that I've been wanting, but now it's 2, 3 months in and they still ain't got that coat.
mhm.
If you
Yeah.
paying attention, you can focus in on that, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, it doesn't have to be financially. And
Right.
that's what I had to learn.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna be honest.
Mm.
Yes, in this situation, I am not the breadwinner. Okay, I'm not. I can honestly say that, right? But what I can bring to the table, which is stuff that we've talked about in season one, and even in these
Mhm.
earlier shows that we talked about, is having someone that's going to meet you. and add to you. That's gonna pour into you. And no, I'm
Mhm.
not TD Jakes, but that's what he says all the time about pouring into somebody, right? Well,
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying. I can pour peace. I can pour support. I can pour, you know, an ear, someone that's there, that's tuned in to you,
Mhm.
right? Not just about what I can get from you, not about, oh yeah, this came up and if you could really help me out and give me this or that or what. No, how about just how was your day? What was
Mhm.
your day like?
Mhm.
How did you feel when that happened?
Mhm.
Walk me through. No, I'm just playing, but that's what I mean, but still, just that you are that in tune with the person is a whole nother level of giving, right?
Mhm.
Than just the financial.
Mhm.
Too much, I mean, especially with, and then you have to be used to being on the receiving end too. I have a problem, and I'm gonna be honest with it, and it's receiving and saying thank you to stuff
Mhm.
when it's too
Mhm.
overwhelming for me because it's like, damn, she didn't have to do that. Like I
Mhm.
could have got that, at some point. I probably would never have got it, but I could have did it if I wanted to, right?
Mhm.
But she took the time
Mhm.
to do that, you
Mhm.
know, and being open to it and saying it's not the item or it's not the material, it's the thought,
Mhm.
it's the act, it's
Mhm.
the process of she thought about you, she saw this 60 linen sale or something custom that she had made just for you. This is
Mhm.
something that she put her time and energies in for you,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So, we talked about in earlier shows about how, I listened to things that you said when we first started dating, and you had a certain particular candy that you liked, and it's something that took you back to when you were little, and I was able to find it, and I got
Mhm.
it, and it surprised you with it, and you were shocked, right? And I didn't just skimp out, fellas, and get the little 1 pack. I got, the multi-pack because I want it to last. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm.
still, the fact that I took the time to get that for you was impressive. No different
Right.
than the fact of, we're out and I leave a nice little note
Right.
in the bag that
Right.
had the candies in it that I gave to you, right?
Right.
So stuff
Mhm.
like that, I mean, it's like those are things that, yes, priceless because it didn't have a big tag on it, but it's something that's unique
Mhm.
because it came from me.
Mhm.
Right.
Very true.
So I mean, now how do you deal with now the main question, which is I don't know, the fella's like, yeah, but we supposed to be the man. We the providers and we this and this. You could provide in more ways than financially.
Mhm. Mhm.
You really could.
Mhm.
And get the same results, get
Mhm.
the same respect, get the same
Mhm.
love, get all of that. But it's not just the financial. Well, I paid the
Mhm.
bills. I made sure cable was on and this
Mhm.
and this and the lights is on. Yeah, okay, but cable's on, lights on. Is your relationship on?
Mhm.
Just throwing it out there. Are you
Mm.
on point in your relationship?
Right.
Because you can do all the monetary things.
Right.
That's cool.
Mhm.
But how are you guys growing? What
Right.
is your one thing that you and I do a lot of is so where do you see us in the next 2, 3 years?
Right.
It's almost like a job. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You like, so in the next 5 years, where would you
Right.
like to be? Are you still gonna be here? Are you gonna move into leadership? Are you gonna do,
Right.
so it's like, and we do that, but that's not to it actually makes you think of how like you have a plan.
Right.
You say in the next 2 to 3 years, I want to be here. I
Mhm.
want our relationship to be at this point. So now you
Mhm.
have something to shoot for. Because guess what? If you're not doing that,
Right.
you will never focus on how to continue it to grow, and then it becomes stagnant.
Right.
And now you nitpicking on each other for the simplest of things, the stupidest of things, because neither one of you are really trying to move it forward. You're just keeping everything in the same space. You're not
Correct.
growing at that point.
Right.
So if that woman's making that money, go on out there and get that money. I ain't mad at you. I'm gonna be supporting you. That's your money. But let me be able to take care of the few little bills I can. So the light bill and the cable bill and the water bill. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm just being honest.
you had a hard time. You
It
did have
was.
a you had a very hard time. Yeah,
It was. It definitely was. And it's not, I don't want to say hard like ego. I think it's just hard because you know when you're the breadwinner and you're the man in the relationship and you're the breadwinner or you're the dominant one in the relationship, you kind of know your role. You know, okay, if there's a need financially, I'm going to provide that.
right,
That's what I do. And I
right,
can pick up all these little trinkets and all this other stuff, and she'll be happy or he'll be happy and life will be great. But when you're not that anymore, because those little trinkets is stuff that they can do on their own.
right,
That's a whole nother ball game now.
right,
You
right.
know, oh, you bought this for me. I could have bought two or three of those if I wanted them.
I've
But
never
what
said
else
that
can
to
you
you
bring?
though. I've
No,
never
you
said
no,
that
you
to you.
have no, you haven't. But I'm just saying, from a male's perspective or from a dominant perspective, when you're used to being that person, you can't do that anymore.
Right.
So now you have to look at other avenues.
Hmm.
Okay, it might be like I said, you wanted that jacket, but you never got it.
Right.
And it's 3, 4 months down the line, and now it shows up. Or
Right.
you wanted that outfit and it showed up on your doorstep. And you wasn't even expecting it,
Right.
which I did. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. But still, it's the little things, right? I
Right.
know I didn't go run out and buy the whole wardrobe and but I did what I could. And the fact that it was done and it was done out of love and it was done out of appreciation
Hmm.
and it wasn't something that you expected,
No, not at
it
all.
had the same effect.
It did.
So what's your thoughts?
Um, so people might say, why are you on, why are you on SL? And people are on SL for different, for different things. And most people know, well, probably don't know. I actually came to SL because my cousin brought me on SL to kind of drop me off and left me. So, um,
Wow.
yeah. And so I was like, you know what? I'm really not doing anything. And just so everybody knows a little bit about um, my life, I'm a workaholic. And
Mhm.
I needed something to kind of balance me out. And so what I found, not only did I've been in the gym, and I was a gym rat. I was a bodybuilder. Most people don't know that. Um, and I had to find something else. I had to find something that was going to level me out because more of the masculine side was taking over, and I was literally losing that feminine energy. And literally, I was told, "You're going to kill yourself if you keep doing what you're doing."
Mhm.
Thus is how I ended up in SL.
Mhm.
um, but yes, relationships that I've had, I've always been the breadwinner. And I've had hard times with that because some men don't know how to deal with that.
Right.
It's a thing like, oh well, you make more money, you doing this, you doing that. What can I do for you? Da, 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 da. But I keep trying to tell people it's not about if I make more money, great. But what are you doing for me? Are you keeping it peaceful for me when I come home?
Right.
You
Yep.
know, are you running my bath water, or do you have dinner cooked because I've worked late at night? Um, are you there just really? Are you just there to listen to me?
Mhm.
Or you may say, "Hey, babe, why don't you just go here? Here's $50, go get a massage." Because people like me, we don't tend to take care of ourselves very well.
Mhm.
And you know this because there'll be times you'll tell me, "Have you eaten today?" I'll forget to eat.
Right.
Okay. So,
Right.
I mean, just the simplest things that people are like, "What?" Yeah, I forget to eat. Um, and I don't go on vacation very much, thus having to buy timeshares and things like that to force myself. It's just a different thought process. And
Right.
you had to understand my thought process in order to be able to kind of deal with that.
Right.
You know,
True.
um, I don't think uh, the same as most people because I'm a driver. I
Mhm.
keep going. I just drive, 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 drive. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm always working. And even when we met, I invited you to a club and you were like, oh, I don't really go to that club. I'm like, just come on over here. I'm working. We just listening to some music. I'm working. See, I'm at a club and I'm working. And most people that know me, even on SL, know if you see me in a club and I don't speak, I'm working.
Right.
I'm just there. I'm literally there for the music. And so being with a woman that actually makes more money, honestly, it's not about, she doesn't need your money. What we need is your time. What
Right.
we need is your effort, and what we need is your energy.
Mhm.
Everything else we can do for ourselves. Not that we're saying, oh, don't buy for me or don't get me this. No, please. I'm still a woman. I still like to get things from my man. But to me, it means a lot because you took the time knowing where we stand. You took the time to find something that was close to me and you got it, and I wasn't expecting it. I mean, this man went out, we were talking one night and I told him, okay, people are going to think I'm crazy, but the little candies that you have during Valentine's Day, and they're little heart shaped. They look like little chalk things, and they have little sayings on them. Like some of my favorite candy to eat. This man went out and I don't know how he found this candy because you don't find it everywhere anymore. But he found it. He put a card. I've got a handwritten note. Um, he found that, and it was just like, wow, and he brought it to me. I still have the bag. I think I still have some of the candy in it because I didn't want to eat it all up. I still have the note. Um, but that made an impact on me because that was like, okay, he's listening to me.
Mhm.
He's got me. He understands me, and he looked past all of the other stuff, um, and just saw me, And so to me, that's the best advice that I can give if a woman is making more money is don't let your ego get in the way. Um, but all she's looking for really is time. That's it.
True.
Time.
Very true. Very true. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean that was I mean again, it's one of those things that is easy to say. Um it's hard to do sometimes.
Right.
But it's just one of those things where you just and I always tease, and there's nothing against it, but I always tease. I'll be like, yeah, I'll be Stepman. That's cool. You can be Oprah. I'll be Stepman. And that's fine with me, right? I'll play that role, because Stepman be cool with it. He just be in the background or whatever. But
Hmm.
but it's like one of those things where when you again and everything that we have said and every since season one, I mean again, if you want to have a great relationship, no matter who is making what, like who's the breadwinner and who's not, set the boundaries, set the
Right.
foundation, right? She didn't just come in and say, hey, this is what it is, and either you with it or you're not.
Right.
It wasn't like that. And it wasn't like just put out there in a braggadocious way either, like just bragging. It was just like, hey, by the way. And then it's like, okay. And then if you are that way, like I am, it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, that's great. That's your money. That's good for you. It's
Well,
not gonna
I
be
mean,
good for me. You know
it,
what I'm saying?
it wasn't like I had to, I had to tell you because if I'm
Right,
working or if I'm doing something, and then you come and you visit me, or I'm saying, hey, let's go here, and you're like, she wants to go where? That
right,
that's probably that's gonna take me a year to save up for. I'm like, yo, no, let's go get on a flight now.
right,
Um, that's a little that's a different lifestyle that you're springing on somebody,
right,
and I don't look at prices.
right,
If you and I have gone out to eat, and I don't, I could care less. I want what I want,
right, right,
and I get what I want.
right,
And I just, to me, it doesn't mean that it's for everybody. I deserve the best. I'm going to treat myself to best. I literally work the hardest. I mean, I've told you just by some of the stuff that I've gotten you into that
mm-hmm,
eventually I'm going to retire you.
right,
You won't have to work.
right.
So, um, I think people just really have to be kind of open to that.
And I'm gonna say open, but then also open and really pay attention. Like, because here's the thing, they always say a reflection of you is what, five people that's around you.
Correct.
So if you surround yourself with people that are breadwinners, that are go-getters, that are
Right.
hustlers, that is going to start to have an effect on you. The
Right.
same as if you have people that are leeches and just complain and all
Right.
they doing is drama and gossip,
Right.
that's going to have an effect on you too. I'd rather
Right.
be with the latter than that, right? So it's like, okay, you got to this certain level. How can I get to that level,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Help me understand, or what's the mind process, or what's the thought process, right?
Mhm.
Like, I'm gonna give you one example, and
Mm.
this is just me speaking on it from a personal level,
Mm.
okay? Because generally, and I know some of us know about this, is you get money, you got a bank account, you got a savings account, you put money in your savings account. You're always trying to save something, right?
Mm.
From your check or whatever, you're saving money. And then at the
Mm.
end of the year, you got all of what, 1%?
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? 2%
Mm.
maybe, if
Better
you're
learn how to
lucky.
diversify that money.
Right, right. And I had to realize, and it was just like, okay, I'm saving this and I'm not really gaining anything.
Right.
And then the first thing that came out was, well, money likes to move. You have to move money. Money
Mm.
moves fast. It likes to move
Mhm.
fast. You
Mhm.
holding on to something is exactly what you got. It was what you're holding on to.
Mhm.
So if you diversify, like you said, or invest in something, right?
Mhm.
It start for me. It started with something as simple as bitcoins, and I thought I was doing something, and then you came in and said, "Hey, why don't you look into stocks?" And I'm like, eh. And it was a
Mm.
Christmas, and I'll never forget it because if you're gonna treat yourself, you might treat yourself on your
And you
birthday.
and you
You
made a
treat
hell
yourself
of a
on.
return on that
I
too.
did. You told me invest in this right now, and I'm like, but that's a lot. And don't buy half a piece. Get the whole shares, right? Get whole shares. And then literally, like within a month, it was like the return
Yeah.
was like, wow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then it started the growth. Okay, well, what else can you do? And then it got into real estate, stuff like that. So I
Right.
mean, it's one of those things that you can look at it in two ways. You can look at it like, oh, well, she's making all the money. Okay. Or you can look at it like, how can it help me grow? How can I get better? How could I get on that level? All right. And
Well,
if you with someone that can is gonna be open and
right.
help you, and
Right.
you're gonna listen, because that's the biggest thing. People can tell you all day, but if you're not gonna listen, that's a waste of their time too.
Mhm. Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm gonna say that's probably going to rattle some cages is I'm much more different in Second Life than I am in real life. I'm I'm very cutthroat in real life. But I'm also about business.
Hmm.
I think in Second Life, I have people around me because just by osmosis, but I'm very, very um it's a thought process of who's around me in real life. And here's what I'm gonna say. I pay for the friends that I have.
Hmm.
And in real life. And what I mean by that is there is nobody around me in my life that is a friend of mine that makes less than $1 million a year.
Right.
And I pay to be in their company
Right.
because if I'm in their company, what am I going to learn? I tell people, I think you know this, is one of my best friends was married to a Dallas Cowboy.
Hmm.
And so we talk money all the time. We talk investments all the time. And so I surround myself with either like-minded people or people that are already doing what I want to get to. And I get in a room with a bunch of women that know a heck of a lot about me. And what I do is I shut my mouth
Hmm.
because I want to learn and I want to get where they are. And what happens is sometimes us as women, and I'm going to say women of color, we want to open our mouths. We want to have this. We want to have that. We want to say this. We want to say that. And it kind of turns people off. When I look at it, I'm like, okay, and I was one of them. You have to learn to be quiet and be still and learn. Open your mind. You're probably going to learn some things you would have never ever thought you were going to learn
Mhm.
just by being in the room with these different types of women. And it's not, we're not in a room to compete with each other. What we're doing is we're transferring any energy to one another. And to actually have that energy and be in that room allows you to see things a lot differently. So the way most people may see money is I've got to hold on to it or I can't buy that. And I tell people this all the time. You saying, "Oh, I can't afford that," you've just put it out into the universe, and what you're going to get is more of what you just said. What I do is if I want something and I'll say, "How am I going to get that?" See the difference? I just
Mhm.
reframed it. And when I did that, then everything else started to come to me. So when I started getting into a room with all of these women making all this money and I started paying to be in these rooms with these women, guess what happened? I now have invested in myself to
Mhm.
learn what they learned. And guess what? Now I've reached that level that they are, and I'm going on to reach even higher levels. You're
Mhm.
talking to somebody that actually interviewed the granddaughter of the man that owned H&R Block. And we all know if all you have to do is Google how much H&R Block makes. And I remember interviewing her. And it's funny because I didn't know who she was. I just read her book, right? That's
Mhm.
all I did. I literally read her book, and I was like, and then when we started talking, she told me she's like, oh yeah, my grandfather's H was the owner of H&R Block, and so and I'm like, but she told me about the money woes and the men that she was with, and her grandfather would not give her inheritance because of the men she was picking because she was like, I would have just gave it away. I would have just lost it all. So it wasn't until she got much older that she ended up getting money, and she wrote this book. Um and it was really the reason I read the book is because it was the difference in how high performing women think to the regular woman,
Mhm.
and how we stay in that broke status. And everybody says, I've heard people say, "Oh, I don't want that type of car. Oh, I'm good with this type of car." Well, maybe, yeah. I mean, I've had, even in my NLP course that I took, I had a guy that lived in Hawaii, that millionaire, but he had I think it was a Bronco, and he took the Bronco in and just had it all redone. And I said, "See, it doesn't matter whether if I like, we know what type of car I like. I mean, I'm your Rolls Royce girl, okay? You may not want a Rolls Royce, but you may want that Bronco, but you want to get it souped up, which is going to cost you darn near just as much."
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's all in perspective. And the thing about it is, I always tell people, it's the action. We can all talk, 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 but it's the action. And literally, that's where my money came into play, is because I put everything I learned from all of these women that I've learned from, and I've been around $1 million women. I actually interviewed a $1 billion woman. And what I learned from that, it's a lifetime experience. It wasn't about the money. It was what I took away from actually sitting down and having a conversation one on one with her,
Mhm.
which has led me to get to where I am today. So
Right.
I think most men haven't been as open, and they want to do their own thing, and they want to have this ego, and it's really not about ego. I think once you allowed yourself to be open and you allowed all of this knowledge to come to you, um, then you started to make the money too.
Right.
Yeah,
Agree. Agree.
yeah.
And this is a definitely great topic to end a season with. Um, once again, like I said, season one was awesome, but season two, we dug deeper. We went in the rabbit hole a little more. I'm only excited to see what season three could bring. You know?
Yep, me too.
So again, please keep continuing to send us, questions that you want, topics that you want covered. um Again, it's all anonymous, but at the same time, if we can get to it and we address it, it may help you, but it also may help someone else. And that's really what this whole paint sipping relationship was based on. Things that Rain was seeing, things that I was seeing, things that others were seeing, and just wasn't addressing. you know it's easy to talk about the negative, but what about stuff that actually could be something that can help you grow?
Right.
Something that you could take with you, something you can work on, and then see the results of your working on something, and how beautiful that can be at the end. That's what this whole premise of this whole platform was for, and that's what we'll continue to do. So, with that being said, again, thank you for a wonderful season, Rain, and look forward to doing it again in season 3.
Yes. And everybody have a happy holiday.
Yes, and once again, happy holidays. And again, we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.